So footage of Stefon Diggs apparently begging the Kansas City Chiefs to sign him has people on the internet talking. The timing of it all, the release, the free agency, the history between Diggs and Kansas City, makes this one worth looking into. On March 4th, 2026, the Patriots informed Diggs that he would be released at the start of the new league year on March 11th. That is a four-time Pro Bowl wide receiver, freshly cut, looking for a new team. And within hours of the news hitting, social media did what social media does. Clips started circulating. The footage in question is tied to a long history between Stefon Diggs and the Kansas City Chiefs. In 4 of the past 5 seasons, Diggs' season ended at the hands of Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs. That is not a casual rivalry, that is a pattern. The most famous piece of footage in this saga dates all the way back to January 2021. As the Kansas City Chiefs celebrated their AFC Championship Sunday night following a 38-24 victory of the Buffalo Bills, one member of the opposite team remained on the field to watch from a distance. That member was Stefon Diggs. Stefon Diggs, whose receiving prowess helped Buffalo claim its first division title in 25 years, and first appearance in the AFC Championship in 27 years, stood alone on the opposite side of the field and watched the confetti fall on the Chiefs in their home stadium. The photographer who captured that moment, James P. McCoy of the Buffalo News, later explained the story behind it. All of the players were heading off the field, except for Stefon Diggs. A few players tried to get him to leave, but he refused. Coach Sean McDermott came running out from the locker room and consoled his star receiver. McDermott ended his embrace and left the field, but Diggs stayed. That image, Diggs standing alone, hands on hips, watching Kansas City celebrate, became one of the most iconic photos in recent NFL history. This image of Buffalo Bills wide receiver Stefon Diggs watching the Kansas City Chiefs celebrate their AFC Championship victory has become a symbol of the Bills' desire to surpass Kansas City and reach the Super Bowl. Now fast forward to 2026. Diggs is a free agent. The Chiefs have been named as a potential landing spot for Diggs. The Kansas City Chiefs have a big question mark on offense as 2 of their top pass catchers may not return to the team in 2026. Chiefs receiver Rashee Rice faces a potential suspension after facing charges of domestic assault, while tight end Travis Kelce has not decided whether he will retire or return to the team. So when old and new clips of Diggs showing admiration for the Chiefs organization started surfacing, including moments where he talked about wanting to compete at the highest level, wanting to play for championships, wanting to be with a team that knows how to win. The internet packaged that up with a simple headline: Diggs is begging Kansas City to take him. The reality is more complicated, as it always is, but that has not stopped the story from going viral. And the truth is, the connection between Diggs and the Chiefs is real. It has existed for years. According to Bleacher Report's Mo Morton, Stefon Diggs is the ideal free agent for the Chiefs, as his injury will likely drive down his cost on the open market, and the team could use a reliable set of hands for their inevitable postseason run. That assessment is not coming from a fan account. It is coming from a legitimate NFL insider. And when you combine that with the footage of Diggs expressing his desire to win, footage that has now resurfaced with fresh context, the narrative practically writes itself. As it stands, the Chiefs only have 6 wideouts under contract, with the trio of Rashee Rice, Xavier Worthy, and Jalen Royals being the only names of note. That is a thin receiver room by any standard. And Diggs, despite everything happening around him, just put up over 1,000 yards last season. The question people are asking is not whether Diggs wants to be a Chief. The question is whether Kansas City wants the baggage that comes with him. To understand why Stefon Diggs being available on the open market is a big deal, you need to understand who Stefon Diggs is and what he has done in this league. Stefon Marcian Diggs, born November 29th, 1993, is an American professional football wide receiver. He played college football for the Maryland Terrapins and was selected by the Minnesota Vikings in the 5th round of the 2015 NFL Draft. A 5th-round pick. That matters. Nobody handed Diggs anything. He earned every snap, every target, every yard from the jump. Diggs became a full-time starter for the Vikings midway through his rookie year, despite his late-round draft status. His rookie numbers were solid. Diggs had an impressive rookie year, finishing with 720 receiving yards and 4 touchdowns. For a 5th-round pick getting a late start to the season, those are numbers that turn heads. But the moment that put Diggs on the map, the moment that made him a household name, came during the 2017 playoffs. With only 10 seconds remaining in the 4th quarter, Diggs made the winning play with a 61-yard touchdown, giving the Vikings a dramatic 29-24 win, dubbed the Minneapolis Miracle. That play is in every highlight reel. That play is in the NFL history books. In the NFC divisional round against the Saints, Diggs finished with 137 receiving yards and a touchdown. Following that season, on July 31st, 2018, Diggs signed a 5-year, $72 million contract extension with the Vikings. Through the 2023 season, the Vikings were betting on Diggs being a cornerstone of their offense for the next half-decade. He finished the 2018 season with 102 receptions for 1,021 yards and 9 touchdowns. He and Thielen became the first Vikings wide receiver duo since Carter and Moss to record over 1,000 receiving yards each. Carter and Moss, that is the standard Diggs was being compared to in Minnesota. But despite the numbers, Diggs grew frustrated with the direction of the organization. After 5 seasons and some frustration on Diggs' end in his final campaign with the Vikings, Minnesota traded its star to the Bills near the start of free agency. On March 20th, 2020, the Vikings traded Diggs and their 7th-round draft pick to the Buffalo Bills for their 1st, 5th, and 6th-round picks in the 2020 NFL Draft, in addition to a 4th-round pick in the 2021 NFL Draft. That trade changed the trajectory of 2 franchises. The Bills gave up a lot to get Diggs, and he made them look smart for doing it. With the Bills, he became the fastest receiver to surpass 100 catches with his new team and broke Eric Moulds' franchise record for receiving yards in a season. Diggs led all NFL receivers in 2020 with 127 receptions and 1,535 receiving yards. Let that sink in. In his first season in Buffalo, Diggs led the entire NFL in receptions and receiving yards. Diggs' presence helped Josh Allen transform into one of the league's best quarterbacks. That is not an exaggeration. Allen was a raw, athletic quarterback with a cannon arm. Diggs gave him a target who could win at every level of the field. Together, they turned Buffalo into a contender. In the 2021 season, Diggs had 103 catches for 1,225 yards and 10 touchdowns, as part of the NFL's number 3 scoring offense. The following season was even better statistically. Diggs had 108 receptions for 1,429 yards and a career-high 11 touchdowns in 2022. In total, Diggs totaled 5,372 yards and 37 touchdowns in only 4 seasons in Buffalo. Those are franchise-level numbers. In 4 years, he put together a body of work that most receivers do not accumulate in an entire career. But here's the thing about Diggs that everyone who has followed him knows. He wants to win. He has always wanted to win, and that desire has sometimes made him difficult to be around when the winning stops. In Minnesota, he wanted out because the team was not winning enough. In Buffalo, the frustration surfaced again when the Bills kept coming up short against, you guessed it, the Kansas City Chiefs. That is the thread. That is the through line. No matter where Diggs has been, the Chiefs have been the wall he could not get past. And now that he is a free agent, the idea of him joining that very team is what has sent the internet into a frenzy. After 4 seasons in Buffalo and a brief stint with the Houston Texans, Diggs landed with the New England Patriots. On March 28, 2025, Diggs signed a 3-year, $63.5 million contract with the New England Patriots. That contract was a statement. New England was investing in a veteran receiver to help rebuild around young quarterback Drake May, and Diggs delivered. He finished the 2025 season as the Patriots' leading receiver with 85 receptions for 1,013 yards and 4 touchdowns, becoming the first Patriots receiver to record at least 1,000 receiving yards in a single season since Julian Edelman in 2019. That stat alone tells you how productive Diggs was. He was the most productive receiver to wear a Patriots jersey in 6 years, but the regular season was just the beginning. The Patriots went on a playoff run that nobody predicted. In the divisional round against his former team, the Houston Texans, Diggs recorded 4 receptions for 40 yards and 1 touchdown in the 28-16 win, advancing to his 2nd AFC Championship game and 3rd Conference Championship game overall. Then came the AFC Championship. In the AFC Championship against the Denver Broncos, Diggs recorded 5 receptions for 17 yards. In the 10-7 win, advancing to Super Bowl LX and his first Super Bowl appearance in his career. For the first time in his career, Stefon Diggs was going to the Super Bowl. The man who had stood alone on the field watching the Chiefs celebrate. The man who had his season ended by Kansas City over and over again. He was finally there. Diggs soaked in the heartbreak of the Bills' AFC Championship loss to the Chiefs. Now 3 years later, it's him who is finally on the winning side. But the Super Bowl did not go his way. The Patriots would leave Super Bowl LX with a 13-29 loss. Diggs had 3 receptions for 37 yards in the game. After a decade in the league and so many close calls, Diggs came up short again. The ring still eluded him. And then, barely a month after the Super Bowl, the Patriots made their move. NFL Network's Tom Pelissero reported on March 4th, the Patriots were releasing Diggs. NFL.com's Nick Shook wrote the decision was purely financially motivated. Diggs was carrying a salary cap number of $26.5 million into the 2026 season. That is a huge number for a 32-year-old receiver, even one who just put up 1,000 yards. But the financial side was only part of the story. Even with his impressive stat line, Diggs' sizable cap hit in 2026 had the risk of hindering New England's fiscal flexibility this offseason, especially with the Patriots needing to account for several deficiencies across the depth chart. Given Diggs' age and quiet postseason, 14 catches, 110 yards, 1 touchdown over 4 games, New England also had to weigh whether or not an older wideout like Diggs was worth an over $25 million cap hit. The numbers in the postseason were not pretty. His production dipped in the postseason, logging just 14 receptions on 20 targets, for 110 yards and 1 touchdown and averaging 27.5 yards per game. For a receiver making that kind of money, disappearing in the playoffs is the last thing a team wants to see. After cutting Diggs, the Patriots replaced him with Romeo Doubs. New England agreed to terms on a 4-year contract with wideout free agent Romeo Doubs. The page turned in Foxborough. And just like that, Stefon Diggs was on the street. The Patriots will save $16.8 million in cap room with the move and pay $9.7 million in dead money. It was a business decision, cold, calculated. And it left one of the most productive receivers of the last decade looking for a job. Now here is where the story gets complicated, because the release was not just about money. There is a whole other side to the Stefon Diggs situation that cannot be ignored. Diggs is facing felony strangulation and other criminal charges stemming from an alleged dispute with his personal chef. Diggs has pleaded not guilty to the charges. Those charges were filed in December 2025. Diggs was formally charged on December 30th with felony strangulation or suffocation and misdemeanor assault and battery charges after the chef said he strangled her over a payment dispute. At his arraignment, Diggs entered a not guilty plea. His attorney, Mitchell Schuster, told the media, "We're confident that after the facts and evidence are reviewed in this case, he will be completely exonerated." He is next scheduled to appear for a pretrial hearing April 1st. The legal situation is ongoing. Nothing has been proven. Diggs has denied the allegations. But the charges are real and they are serious. And they are a factor in every team's evaluation of whether or not to sign him. When the Patriots were asked about the situation during the season, the organization put out a statement. The team said they were aware of the accusations, and that Stefon has informed the organization that he categorically denies the allegations. "We support Stefon. We will continue to gather information and will cooperate fully with the appropriate authorities and the NFL as necessary." But that support only went so far. When the offseason arrived and the financials did not add up, the Patriots chose to move on. The legal issues are not the only off-field headlines Diggs has dealt with. In May 2025, a video of Diggs with women on a yacht holding a pink substance surfaced online and sparked media attention. Patriots head coach Mike Vrabel announced that the team would start an investigation on the incident. When Diggs finally addressed the yacht video, he kept it short. "Obviously, I want to be as candid with you guys as possible," Diggs told reporters. "I kind of have a thing where I don't talk about my personal life with people I don't know personally. I'm pretty sure everybody here, men and women, are great people, but I try to keep my personal life personal." Then there is the relationship with Cardi B. On June 1st, 2025, Diggs and Cardi B publicly confirmed their relationship in an Instagram post. In November 2025, Cardi B gave birth to their son. The two were one of the highest profile couples in entertainment and sports. But things fell apart after the Super Bowl. The day after the Super Bowl, people confirmed that Diggs and Cardi unfollowed each other on Instagram. Cardi confirmed the split when she addressed it for the first time on February 15th while on her Little Miss Drama tour. So when you step back and look at the full picture, the headline about Diggs begging the Chiefs to take him exists in the context of a man whose professional and personal life is in flux. He lost the Super Bowl. He got released. His relationship ended publicly. He has a felony charge hanging over him, and he is 32 years old. That is the context that matters. The footage going viral is not just about football. It is about a player at a crossroads. And the idea of joining the Chiefs, the team that has tormented him for years, represents something bigger. It represents a chance to rewrite the story. A chance to go from the guy standing alone watching the confetti to the guy standing in the middle of it. Old footage of Diggs talking about the desire to compete at the top level resurfacing right now is not a coincidence. People are connecting the dots. They are looking at his history with Kansas City, looking at the Chiefs' need for a receiver, and drawing their own conclusions. And when AI-generated videos start circulating on top of that, like the viral AI clip of Mike Vrabel cutting Diggs that quickly spread across social media and sparked debate about how realistic artificial intelligence content is becoming. The lines between reality and narrative get blurred, and that is exactly how stories like this go viral. So where does this leave us? The footage is out there. The narrative is built. The connection between Stefon Diggs and the Kansas City Chiefs has never been more direct. But will Kansas City actually pull the trigger? There are arguments on both sides. On one hand, despite coming off a major injury and being in his age 32 season, Diggs had 85 receptions on 102 targets for 1,013 yards and 4 touchdowns. That is production. That is a receiver who can still play. Stefon is better than the WR core Kansas City has right now, minus tight end Travis Kelce. He would get the opportunity to play with quarterback Patrick Mahomes. For a receiver who has spent his entire career wanting to win a championship, playing with the best quarterback in football is the clearest path to a ring. On the other hand, the Chiefs have concerns. The Chiefs already have more than enough trouble making pass catchers. The Chiefs have more than enough on their plate with everything surrounding Rice. Adding another player with legal issues and a history of locker room friction is a risk. If the Chiefs are going to roll the dice on a wide receiver with a knack for tabloids, they might as well focus on the duo they already have, or at least entertain a reunion with Tyreek Hill. And then there is the draft. After the Trent McDuffie trade, general manager Brett Veach will have 9 draft picks to try to find some help for Patrick Mahomes, including the number 9 selection. This draft class is deep at wide receiver, so he may choose to test his fortunes with a rookie instead of signing another problematic former big name. The financial argument is interesting too. Diggs can probably be had on a much more reasonable deal than the 3-year $63.5 million pact he made with the Patriots. At 32, it could be more difficult for Diggs to find a team readily willing to sign him to a long-term contract, and he may wind up playing next season on a short-term deal. A short-term prove-it deal is exactly the kind of contract that would work for Kansas City. The Chiefs do not need Diggs to be their franchise receiver for the next 5 years. They need him for 1 season, maybe 2, enough to keep the championship window open while they develop younger talent. But the Chiefs are not the only team in the conversation. The Kansas City Chiefs, Baltimore Ravens, and Denver Broncos could be potential landing spots for him. Stefon also grew up in Maryland. A homecoming with Baltimore would make sense on a personal level. And Diggs was close to signing with the Broncos last year before he signed with the Patriots. In large part, it was because of Davis Webb, who he played with in Buffalo and is now Denver's play caller. There is also the possibility of a return to New England. Despite his abrupt exit, a top Patriots official said this week that the team could leave the door open for Diggs to return on a new contract. That would be a surprising turn, but stranger things have happened in the NFL. Meanwhile, Diggs is staying busy. Several current free agents will play in a flag football tournament. Von Miller, DeAndre Hopkins, Deebo Samuel, and Stefon Diggs. He is keeping his name out there. He is staying in shape, and he is waiting for the phone to ring. The truth about the viral footage is this: Diggs has never explicitly begged the Chiefs to sign him. What exists is a collection of clips, some old, some new, some taken out of context, that paint a picture of a man who has spent the better part of a decade chasing what Kansas City has. Championships, confetti, rings. He has been on the wrong side of it every time. And now, for the first time in his career, there is nothing stopping him from being on the right side. The image from January 2021 still tells the story better than any words can. Diggs had his hands on his hips, and that was the image. A man standing alone, watching, wanting. 5 years later, the wanting has not stopped. It has just changed form. Whether Kansas City pulls the trigger remains to be seen. Diggs' sudden availability raises several questions for many teams, including the Chiefs, and the football world will be watching every development. But what the viral footage really captures is not begging. It is hunger. It is the same hunger that kept Diggs on that field in Arrowhead when every other player had left. The same hunger that drove him out of Minnesota. The same hunger that pushed him through a torn ACL at 30 years old. The same hunger that carried the Patriots to the Super Bowl. Stefon Diggs has 942 career receptions. He has 11,504 career receiving yards. He has been to 4 Pro Bowls. He created the Minneapolis Miracle. He led the NFL in receiving yards. He made a Super Bowl, and he still does not have a ring. Stefon Diggs has never won a Super Bowl. That is the line that matters most. That is the line driving everything. The footage, the speculation, the narrative. Diggs is 32 years old. Time is not on his side. And the Kansas City Chiefs are sitting right there. The team that kept taking from him, the team that could finally give him what he has been chasing his entire career, whether you call it begging, lobbying, manifesting, or just good old-fashioned desperation, the message is the same. Stefon Diggs wants a ring, and he does not care how he gets it. If that means putting on the same uniform that haunted him for years, so be it. The confetti does not care whose side you used to be on. It just falls on whoever is standing in the right spot at the right time. And Diggs? He has been standing, waiting, and watching for a long time. The question now is whether Kansas City is finally ready to let him in.